Marcus Caldwell's billion-dollar empire was crumbling. Stranded with a broken Mustang before the most important board meeting of his life, he desperately accepted help from a teenage mechanic. When she said, "You look just like my dad," his world shattered. This $20 repair would cost him everything, and save his soul. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. Marcus Caldwell sat in his disabled Mustang on the side of Highway 47, steam rising from under the hood like smoke from his burning dreams. The quarterly board meeting was in 2 hours, and his phone showed 17 missed calls from his assistant. Each ring felt like another nail in the coffin of his billion-dollar empire. "This can't be happening," he muttered, loosening his $1,000 tie. "Not today." At 62, Marcus had built Caldwell Industries from nothing into one of the largest construction companies in the country. But 3 months ago, everything started falling apart. A major contract fell through. 2 key investors pulled out. His business partner of 20 years had betrayed him, stealing clients and spreading lies about Marcus's financial stability. Now the board was meeting to decide whether to remove him as CEO of the company he'd built with his own hands. The same company his father had told him he'd never be smart enough to run. Marcus tried the ignition again. Nothing but a pathetic clicking sound. His pristine 1967 Mustang, restored to perfection at a cost of $60,000, had chosen the worst possible moment to break down, just like everything else in his life. He was about to call for a tow truck when he heard footsteps approaching. Through his side mirror, he saw a young woman walking toward his car. She looked about 16, wearing grease-stained coveralls and carrying a toolbox that seemed too heavy for her small frame. "Excuse me, sir," she called out. "Engine trouble?" Marcus rolled down his window, irritation clear in his voice. "What gave it away? The steam or the fact that I'm stranded on the side of the road?" The girl didn't flinch at his sarcasm. Instead, she studied his face with curious brown eyes. "Mind if I take a look? I live just down the road. I've been fixing cars since I was 10. "Listen, kid," Marcus said, checking his expensive watch. "This is a classic Mustang, not some old pickup truck. It needs a real mechanic." "I am a real mechanic," she said quietly. "My name's Riley. Riley Santos. And that Mustang has a 289 V8 engine, probably overheating because the thermostat's stuck or the radiator's clogged. Either way, it's a 30-minute fix if you've got the right tools." Despite his skepticism, something in her confident tone made Marcus reconsider. He was out of options and running out of time. "Fine," he said, popping the hood. "But if you damage anything, you'll be paying for repairs until you're 40. Riley opened her toolbox and went to work with the efficiency of someone twice her age. She tested the radiator, checked the thermostat, and diagnosed the problem within minutes. "Just like I thought," she said, wiping her hands on a rag. "Thermostat stuck closed. Water's not circulating through the engine. You've also got a small leak in one of the radiator hoses." Marcus watched in amazement as she quickly replaced the thermostat and patched the hose with expert precision. Her hands moved with the confidence of years of experience, and she explained each step as she worked. "Where did you learn to do this?" Marcus asked, his earlier irritation replaced by genuine curiosity. "My dad taught me," Riley said, not looking up from her work. "He owned Santos Auto Repair until he died 3 years ago. Now it's just me and my mom trying to keep the shop running." "You're 16 and running an auto repair shop?" 17, Riley corrected. "And yeah, pretty much. Mom handles the books and customers during the day while I'm at school. I do the actual repairs in the evenings and weekends. We don't get much business anymore though. People don't trust a teenage girl to fix their cars." Marcus felt a pang of recognition. He remembered being young and having people doubt his abilities, remembered his father's constant criticism and lack of faith in his potential. "There," Riley said, stepping back from the engine. "Try starting her up now." Marcus turned the key and the Mustang roared to life, purring like a contented cat. The temperature gauge showed normal and there was no more steam. "I can't believe it," Marcus said, genuinely impressed. "How much do I owe you?" Riley wiped her hands again and shrugged. $20 should cover the parts. Labor's free since you're stranded." Marcus pulled out his wallet and handed her a $20 bill. As she took it, her eyes went wide. "You look just like my dad," she whispered, staring at his face. Marcus felt his blood run cold. "What did you say?" "You look exactly like my father. Same eyes, same jawline, even the same way of holding your head when you're thinking." Riley's voice was barely audible. "It's like looking at him 20 years older." "What was your father's name?" Marcus asked, his heart pounding. "Roberto Santos." He came here from Mexico when he was 18, worked 3 jobs to save up enough to open his auto shop. He always said he had family somewhere in Texas, but he lost touch with them years ago. Marcus's world tilted on its axis. Roberto. His little brother Roberto, who'd run away from home when he was 18 after their father had screamed at him for being too stupid and worthless to amount to anything. Did he ever mention having a brother named Marcus? Riley's eyes went even wider. Uncle Marcus? Your Uncle Marcus? Dad talked about you all the time. He said you were the smartest person he ever knew, that you were going to be successful and make something of yourself. Marcus sat in stunned silence as the truth crashed over him like a tidal wave. This wasn't just any teenager who'd fixed his car. This was his niece. His brother's daughter. The brother he'd spent 30 years wondering about, worrying about, but never actively searching for out of stubborn pride. Your father, Marcus said, his voice thick with emotion. Where is he buried? Riley's face crumpled. Green Valley Cemetery about 2 miles from here. He had a heart attack while working under a car. Mom found him when she came to bring him lunch. Tears started flowing down her cheeks. He was only 45. He always said he wished he could see his big brother one more time, make things right between you two. Marcus felt like someone had punched him in the chest. All these years, Roberto had been just a few hours away. All these years, Marcus could have been part of his life, part of Riley's life. Instead, he'd been too proud, too focused on building his empire to reach out to the brother who'd looked up to him. I have to go, Marcus said suddenly, checking his phone. The board meeting was in 45 minutes. But Riley, I need you to know something. Your father wasn't worthless or stupid. He was brave and smart and obviously raised an incredible daughter. You really are my uncle? Riley asked, wiping her eyes. I really am. And I've been looking for your father for 30 years. Marcus reached into his wallet and pulled out a business card. This is my number. I want you to call me tonight. There's so much I need to tell you about your father, so much I need to make up for. Riley looked at the business card, her eyes widening as she read, Marcus Caldwell, CO, Caldwell Industries. You're Marcus Caldwell? The Marcus Caldwell? Dad always said his brother was going to be somebody important, but I never imagined. None of that matters right now, Marcus said. What matters is that I found you. What matters is that your father raised a brilliant, capable young woman who just saved my career without even knowing it. Marcus arrived at the board meeting with 3 minutes to spare, his mind racing with thoughts of Riley and Roberto. The boardroom felt colder than usual as he faced the 12 members who would decide his fate. Marcus, said Board Chairman William Cross, we need to discuss the company's recent losses and your ability to lead during this crisis. For the next hour, Marcus listened to concerns about falling profits, lost contracts, and investor confidence. He answered every question with newfound clarity and purpose. Meeting Riley had reminded him why he'd started this company in the first place. Not just to prove his father wrong, but to build something meaningful, something that would last. I understand your concerns, Marcus said when they finished their questioning. But Caldwell Industries isn't just a company to me. It's a legacy. It's proof that hard work and determination can overcome any obstacle. 3 months ago, I would have fought to keep this position just for my own pride. Today I'm fighting to keep it because I have family counting on me. Family I just discovered. Family that needs what this company can provide. The board voted to keep him as CEO by a narrow margin of 7-5. As Marcus walked out of the boardroom, he felt lighter than he had in months. Not because he'd kept his job, but because he had someone more important than work to focus on now. That evening, Marcus drove to Green Valley Cemetery and found Roberto's grave. The headstone read Roberto Santos, beloved husband and father, 1978 to 2021. Below that, in smaller letters, he fixed everything he touched. Marcus knelt by the grave and spoke to his brother for the first time in 30 years. I'm sorry, Roberto. I'm sorry I was too proud to look for you. I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me. But I found Riley and she's incredible. She's everything you and I dreamed of being when we were kids. She's brave and smart and talented, and she doesn't even know how special she is. Later that night, Riley called him as promised. They talked for 3 hours, sharing stories about Roberto and filling in 30 years of missed connections. Dad used to say that Uncle Marcus was the only person who ever believed in him when he was young, Riley said. He said you taught him that being different wasn't the same as being wrong. Your father taught me that being brave means following your dreams even when everyone says you'll fail, Marcus replied. I just wish I'd been brave enough to follow him when he left. Riley was quiet for a moment. Uncle Marcus, can I ask you something? The auto shop is failing. We're 3 months behind on rent, and Mom's talking about selling everything and moving to Phoenix to live with her sister. I don't want to leave Dad's shop, but I don't know how to save it. Marcus felt a familiar fire ignite in his chest. The same fire that had driven him to build his empire. But this time it wasn't about proving himself. It was about protecting family. Riley, what if I told you that you don't have to lose the shop? What if I told you that we could not only save it, but make it better than it ever was? Over the next few weeks, Marcus spent every free moment at Santos Auto Repair, getting to know his sister-in-law Maria and learning about the challenges facing the small business. Maria was a kind, hard-working woman who'd been struggling to keep her husband's dream alive while raising Riley alone. Roberto always said his brother was brilliant, Maria told Marcus over coffee one afternoon. He said you could solve any problem, fix any situation. I just never imagined you'd want to fix our little auto shop. This isn't charity, Marcus explained. Riley has a gift. She understands engines better than mechanics with 20 years of experience. With the right support and equipment, she could revolutionize how people think about car repair. Marcus invested $200,000 in upgrading the shop with state-of-the-art equipment, hired 3 experienced mechanics to work alongside Riley, and used his business connections to secure contracts with local companies for fleet maintenance. But more importantly, he spent time with Riley, teaching her about business management, customer relations, and long-term planning. He shared stories about Roberto from their childhood, and Riley shared memories of her father that helped heal the wound in Marcus's heart. Dad always said that family was the most important thing, Riley said one evening as they worked together under the hood of a customer's car. He said money and success didn't matter if you didn't have people to share it with. Your father was wiser than I gave him credit for, Marcus admitted. I spent 30 years building an empire, but I was so focused on the building that I forgot why empires matter. They're supposed to be something you pass down to the people you love. 6 months after their chance meeting on Highway 47, Santos Auto Repair had transformed from a struggling small business into the most successful auto shop in 3 counties. Riley had started offering specialized restoration services for classic cars, combining her natural talent with the business skills Marcus had taught her. Local newspapers ran stories about the teenage girl who could fix anything and the millionaire uncle who'd helped her save her father's legacy. But for Marcus, the real success wasn't measured in profits or publicity. It was measured in the smile on Riley's face when she completed a difficult repair, and in the pride in Maria's eyes when she watched her daughter work. I have something for you, Marcus said one evening as they closed up the shop together. He handed Riley an envelope containing the deed to the shop property, which he'd purchased from the previous landlord. Uncle Marcus, I can't accept this, Riley said, tears in her eyes. It's not a gift, Marcus explained. It's an inheritance. This shop belonged to your father and now it belongs to you. I'm just making sure no one can ever take it away from you again. Riley hugged him tightly, and Marcus felt a warmth he hadn't experienced since he was a child. This was what success really felt like. Not the cold satisfaction of a profitable quarter or a successful acquisition, but the deep joy of helping family thrive. There's one more thing, Marcus said. I've been thinking about expanding the business. Opening Santos Auto locations in other cities. I'll provide the capital and business expertise, you provide the technical knowledge and vision. Are you interested in becoming my business partner? Riley's eyes went wide. You want me to be your partner? But I'm only 17. Your father was 18 when he started over in a new country with nothing but determination and a dream. You're already ahead of where he was at your age. Besides, I've learned something important these past few months. Age doesn't determine ability. Character does. And you have more character than most adults I know. 1 year later, Marcus stood in the original Santos Auto Repair shop, watching Riley train a new group of young mechanics in proper restoration techniques. The shop now employed 15 people and had a waiting list of customers who specifically requested Riley's expertise. But the real transformation had been in Marcus himself. He'd stepped back from day-to-day operations at Caldwell Industries, appointing a capable CEO to run the company while he focused on building something more meaningful with Riley and Maria. The Santos Auto chain now had 5 locations across Texas, each one employing local mechanics and specializing in both modern repairs and classic car restoration. Riley had become something of a celebrity in automotive circles, featured in magazines and invited to speak at industry conferences. You know what the best part is? Riley said, joining Marcus as he watched the bustling shop floor. What's that? Dad would be so proud. Not just of the business but of finding you again. He always said that families are like engines, they work best when all the parts are connected and working together. Marcus smiled, thinking of Roberto and the brother he'd lost and found again through his daughter. Your father was right about a lot of things. I just wish I'd figured that out 30 years sooner. Maybe it happened exactly when it was supposed to, Riley said wisely. Maybe Dad knew that bringing us together would take something special, like a broken Mustang and a $20 repair bill. As Marcus looked around the shop that had become so much more than a business, he realized that Riley was right. Sometimes the most important moments in life start with the smallest gestures. A stranded millionaire. A helpful teenager. A $20 bill that changed everything. The Mustang that had broken down that day was now fully restored and displayed in the shop's front window with a plaque that read, "The car that brought a family together." But Marcus knew the real restoration had been in his own heart, finally finding the brother he'd lost and the niece he'd never known he needed. Some gifts he'd learned were worth far more than money. And some repairs were worth more than any price tag could measure.